What's up, everyone? It's Dakota, and today we're going to be looking at not only just one deck in the modern metagame, but we're going to be looking at an entire tournament, kind of breaking down what we've seen from the NRG series in Lansing, Michigan, their 10K trial for their modern event. It was hosted over 2 days where they played 9 rounds of Swiss, with a cut to top 8 being played separate on Sunday. But before I get into all that stuff and we kind of break it down, just see the deck list and everything, if you haven't already and you are enjoying the content on my channel, hopefully you've seen many different videos. But if this is your first one, please consider subscribing. Obviously, then like on the video, commenting, really just about anything. I like interacting with like people in my comment section. So when that does happen, it does make me very happy. And of course, subscribing to the channel as always to show your support and just kind of go on this adventure that we go through as we kind of trek through Magic's past, present, and possibly future uh, eternal formats as we go on. But without further ado, let's hurry up and jump cut to this to these deck lists from the NRG series and their 10K trial in Lansing, Michigan. So here we are. We have all the deck lists from the NRG series. Maybe not all the deck lists, but at least like some number of them. I didn't really look and see. It's probably all of them. So you see on the right, we have the metagame summary. So we're gonna kind of take a look at that really quickly. So as you see here, like there's Murktide is like the number one played deck, which it seems right because if you look at Goldfish and all the submitted deck lists and stuff, Murktide is by far the most played deck in the format. Right behind it, Blink and Elementals, which I believe are sort of kind of like the same deck, at least to me. Like as you see here, 4 color elementals, probably more focusing on like the elemental synergies than like the value pile that like the 4 color blink decks are. Really, you could probably lump these decks together, and if you do, you have the majority, essentially like one more deck being played. So like I think it's like 42, or no, it's like 43. 43 Blink slash Elemental decks, and then 41 Murktide decks. Basically like dominating the meta. Of course, you see like Amulet Titan, which I feel like is a deck that people always want to play. Living End, always a solid option, especially since the Blink decks in particular. I don't think really, I mean, like they have their solitudes and stuff like that, but really don't have much of a way to interact with Living End per se. Surprisingly enough, Death Shadow is up there in the metagame share at 5.41%, 17 decks. Death Shadow obviously didn't make the top 8. In fact, I don't even know if we can find like the best performing 20th place by Luke Fuller for Grixis Shadow. I would say kind of a bold choice when given the fact that Solitude and of course like the banning of lures and things like that kind of spelled the death nail for this deck and really made it hard for people to be able to play it. So the fact that it was actually represented this highly, I mean, one deck behind Living End and two behind the Elemental version of Yorion and the Amulet Titan decks. As a Shadow player, makes me very happy, and for these players, makes me feel really sad for them, just because I think Death Shadow is in a really horrible position in the metagame, as it sits now with these like 4 color blink piles. As you go farther down, Hammer Time, was blue black for the longest time. Now blue white, definitely seeing some play. Made the top 8, as we can see here, along with the 3 other Yorian decks, which of course made the top 4, beating Hammertron, living in Murktide. Going further down, Yawgmoth, surprised that it's being played that little. I believe Yawgmoth actually won an NRG series event back in their season 1. Burn, always a solid go-to. Mono Green, Tron, kind of new. Crashing Footfalls, we can see falling out of favor. Affinity Control, Jun, just some of the other piles of stuff. I'm not sure what that is. And the list goes on and on. Um, I guess not really surprising. I mean, like this is kind of what we expect from the modern metagame is just kind of like diversity and at least like all these other decks. I mean, not to say that like these decks are bad all the way like down here. I mean, like Dredge is always a deck that definitely needs some help. While I don't think it's necessarily the best graveyard based deck when you have like living end and things like that, but definitely still an option. Definitely still a very good deck. Is it prowess? The like enigmatic incarnation is looks pretty sweet. Sahili combo, Tameshi combo. Uh, Niv Delight isn't really like a modern deck per se that I've seen people play. More Pioneer, but still very good. General Affairs deck's really sweet. Only two decks being played. 5-color Omnath, probably playing more into the Omnath side of things. Etron is always seems to be a popular deck. List going on and on. Even like Grinding Station, I thought that deck was sweet. But only 4 decks being played in the event with, I think it was 314 total decks that were played. So, looking at the, looking at the top 8 per se, just in general. So like, well, I guess we'll start at top 16. So top 16, we have 4-color control, which I want to say is probably more of like the 4-color elementals, 4-color blink builds. We have actual 4-color elementals, mono red prowess of 4-color elementals with Kahira being the companion. And if you notice, like a lot of these, 4 of the decks are Yorion companion decks. Um, Continuing on, or Azorius Hammer, which did put another copy in the top 8. Team of Rhinos, which is a deck that I think was probably underrepresented given the other decks that were ahead of it. Making it to 11th and being the best placing finish for Team of Rhinos, uh, with 2 different Blink decks being on the outside looking in a top 8, making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you look at the top 10 decks, half of them were 4-color elementals or 4-color blink, some variation of it, with 3 other decks rounding out the top 16. So really, what can we gather from essentially just this information? We need to yeet not Kira. Kira can stay. Yorion into the sun. I've seen people kind of like all weekend. I mean, they're talking about banning like Ren 6, banning Yorion, banning, something from this deck. And we'll actually look at Josh Warsaw's deck list here, kind of just to round out this video because it's probably going on pretty long. So, uh, to reference a video that I had made before where I was talking about this 4-color blink deck, I think Yorion definitely needs to go. I think you just need to flat out ban the companion mechanic completely, just for the fact that you've banned I believe 2 of them already, or I think Lurrus is the only one that's like really been banned, but you basically neutered a bunch of other decks by getting rid of Lurrus. Yeah, you let decks like this, like Yorion and stuff like that, just continue to exist. So I could see Yorion going. Ren and 6, I guess I wouldn't be completely opposed to, but I kind of don't like hitting the Jund decks. And, you know, I think I think Ren 6 is a fine card to play, on its own, just in this deck in particular, it makes things really, really rough, especially when they get to play Omnath, uh, Locus of Creation. So kind of to wrap this up really quickly because I haven't been feeling the best lately. Seeing cards like I'm fine with iteration for the time being, but definitely seeing like Omnath, Yorion possibly going. Ren and 6, if it really comes down to it, I guess I'd be fine with leaving the format. I think it's okay, like, in the same vein of, like, playing it in a more fair style. Obviously, in a deck like this, where it's just you get to hit your land drop and fix your mana super efficiently, and just the fact that Ren 6 is a very, very good card on its own. Uh, I guess I would be fine with Ren 6 getting some kind of ban hammer, but for the sake of the other decks that kind of use it more fair, I would like to see Ren 6 stick around. Omnath and Yorion have like my main beef here. They're just very good cards for the amount of efficiency, and let you Yorion in particular, obviously, let you play so many more cards in your deck, and Omnath just creating so much value and getting to cast so many amount of mana worth of cards super early is just insane. So that's that's my breakdown for the NRG series event. Please, nope. All right, you hate me. So that's my kind of analysis from the modern trial for the NRG series. If it'll let me go back to the list. No, it won't. Okay. So there we go. So that's kind of my analysis for this. My main takeaway from this is that there's so many like Yorion or just like these big four color like blink decks. Something needs to change here. I think Murktide definitely sees the amount of play that it does because it's able to actually interact with the four color deck. Obviously through like counter spells, just being able to tempo them out, play super efficient big threats, and win the game that way. Hammer kind of in the same vein where it just gets to either kill its opponent out of nowhere with putting a hammer onto a Inkmoth Nexus, or just getting to cast two hammers, which I think we had seen on camera in one of the matches on Saturday, where you just put two hammers on a threat and you just kill your opponent that way. So all in all, I think that something needs to happen to the four color blink deck. Even if it is not the most played deck, I think the reason why Murktide is the most played deck is because it's the best deck to try to interact with four color blink. And even then, like, there's a lot of draws from the four color blink deck that they still can just win the game. I mean, obviously, just playing it to fairy negates a lot of what the Murktide deck can do to interact with uh, the four color blink deck. And just having a turn where you can just resolve like one of your heavy hitters like an Omnath or even like a Yorion, just to like draw like three or four cards, gas back up, and really generate more value, or maybe remove some more of the creatures or even their own planeswalkers and stuff. Uh, Honestly, I just can't see Yorion existing in this format and people continue to like want to play the format. So let me know what you guys think in the comments of this video. If you think something needs to happen in the four color blink deck, or if it's just fine and people are complaining to complain, or if Murktide's a real problem, something, etc., so on and so forth. But that's gonna do it for me in this video. I'm sorry for like the coughing and stuff like that. I mean, I just wanted to make sure that I really got a video out to kind of keep uploading throughout the week. But if you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much. I enjoy the support. I greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the little subscribe button. Of course, ring the bell when so you get notifications when I upload new videos and stuff. And leave a comment if you think anything should happen to this blank deck, or if you agree with wizards and this deck is fine. So yeah, and you just be on the side of evil. That's cool. But that's gonna do it for me this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video.